to the Speeding Bulletin. My name is Steve Younis from supermanhomepage.com. This is all the Superman related news that happened during the week October 21st to October 27th, 2011. In movie news, photos of a shirtless Henry Cavill filming scenes against a green screen backdrop for Man of Steel were posted online this week. The Vancouver Sun reported that this scene involved Coast Guard helicopters with crew waving down the helicopter from the sky. When it landed, Cavill helped rush people on board. In between takes, the actor kept his pecs in top form by doing pull-ups on set. Michael Shannon appeared on a number of TV programs this week to promote his upcoming film Take Shelter. He told the UK's Soccer AM how the Phantom Zone will look very different this time around. He told Sky News in the UK that it's very intimidating playing Zod, saying, "I've been purposely not watching the old ones because it's too much pressure." In TV news, Warner Home Video released Young Justice Season 1 Volume 2 on DVD this week. The single disc release includes episodes 5 to 8 of the first season of the Young Justice animated series, Schooled, Infiltrator, Denial and Downtime. Visit the Superman homepage now to order your copy. Superman homepage writer Isaac Frisby has updated our Young Justice animated series episode guide with a summary of the most recent Season 1 episode, Humanity. Isaac has also written his review of this episode, giving it a 5 out of 5 rating, saying, "The season is picking up speed." The next new episode of Young Justice will air on November 4th in the US. In comic book news, the Superman homepage Ask Matt fan forum has been updated. Matt Idelson, DC's editor of the Superman comic books, answers your questions about the Superman comic books. Come by the site now to read his answers and to put new questions to him for next month. Comic book writer Jim Shooter has revealed the plot details for a Superman comic book Marvel wanted to publish in the mid-1980s, written by John Byrne. Apparently Marvel were negotiating with DC Comics at the time to publish a number of books based on DC characters, but negotiations fell through due to a lawsuit by another comic company. Check out jimshooter.com for his description of John Byrne's first Marvel issue of Superman that never made it to publication. Comic books we reviewed this week included Justice League number 2, which was reviewed by Ralph Silver, who said, "I love this issue," and he gave it a 5 out of 5 rating. Jeffrey Bridges reviewed Supergirl number 2, saying, "Quite an improvement over last issue," and he gave it a 4 out of 5. While Young Justice number 9 was reviewed by Adam DeChannel, who gave it a 5 out of 5, saying, "Hops and Wiseman deliver a fantastic adventure." Jeffrey Taylor is running a little late with his review of DC Universe Online number 16, but you'll see it on the site very soon. Superman comics available this week from October 26 include Superman number 2, Teen Titans number 2, Superman number 1 second printing, Teen Titans number 1 second printing, Flashpoint hardcover, Absolute All-Star Superman hardcover new printing, and Superman Batman Sorcerer Kings hardcover. In other news, Variety reports that a federal judge has refused to throw out Warner Brothers' suit against the Siegel's attorney in the ongoing legal battle over the rights to Superman. The ruling doesn't actually shed any light on who is likely to win the case. However, the judge did state that it gave the court great pause regarding whether Toberoff had any impact on undoing a settlement agreement that may have taken place between DC Comics and the Schuster estate. In one of the strangest Superman auction items we've ever had to report on, ComicConnect.com are offering Superman fans and collectors the chance to own a clump of hair taken from the head of Superman co-creator Jerry Siegel in 1977. With a starting price of $1, the auction will begin at noon on Monday, November 14 at ComicConnect.com. Seems it was a week for rare auction announcements, with BleedingCool.com reporting on the surfacing of the 1938 check DC wrote to purchase the rights to Superman from Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster. The March 1st, 1938 check that DC Comics publisher and accountant Jack Leibowitz issued to Siegel and Shuster to complete the transaction for the amount of $130 was seen online. The check is due to be auctioned off by Comic Connect in early 2012. The Superman homepage is pleased to announce that episode 82 of Radio KAL, the monthly podcast of the Superman homepage, is now available to listen to. Scotty and I discuss Russell Crowe's Jor-El costume, Shirtless Henry Cavill, Michael Shannon's Zod comments, the latest Young Justice episodes, Superman number 1, Action Comics number 2, and Justice League number 2, amongst other things. Be sure to also check out Last Son of Krypton chapter 82 and Lost Daughter of Krypton chapter 54, audio dramas from pendantaudio.com. That's all the news there was for the week October 21st to 27th. I'm Steve Younis from SupermanHomepage.com.
Great Scott! Great Scott! Great Scott!
Hello everyone and welcome to Great Scott. I'm Scotty V. It's good to see you. This week I wanted to talk a little bit about the fact that I'm a Howard Stern fan. I know, a Superman fan who's also a fan of Howard Stern. What a strange oxymoron. Anyway, recently he's been talking a lot about superheroes due to the over the summer release of several big budget superhero films: Thor, Captain America, X-Men, Green Lantern. Howard's a very, very big comic book fan. He loves these comic book movies. He wants them to keep coming. He says things like, make every comic book character, make Ant-Man, make any comic book character you can find, as long as it's good. Oftentimes, Robin, who does the news on the show, she's been on the show for over 30 years with Howard, or around 30 years. She does stories based on the idea that this Man of Steel movie is getting made. So when she reads a story in the paper or on the internet about the Superman movie, she sometimes brings it up. And Howard always gets angry that no one wants to do anything new with Superman. The argument is, why can't they just make a new Superman movie that doesn't have anything to do with what we've seen before, that's just Superman in his suit having an adventure? Why do we always have to see an origin story, an exodus from Krypton, Jor-El, the Kents, how he learns how to be Superman? One of the more recent ones that I heard was Robin saying that the movie was going to be about a Superman trying to find his place in the world, and Howard's response was, didn't we just see that with the last Superman movie? Which of course I imagine he's referring to Superman Returns, where Superman was gone for 5 years and came back to find out that much of the world had moved on, and Lois and some of the people that he loved didn't find him that important in their lives anymore. That's not what this movie looks to be about, this new one. And of course he's going off, much like a lot of fans do on the internet, just by hearing or seeing something very small. In fact, Howard doesn't just sound like he does a lot of research on the Superman movie himself, or that it's anything he particularly cares about finding a lot about. He does get very excited when a comic book movie gets released, and he does see them sometimes on a screener earlier than the rest of us, which makes me a little angry, since we're all just big fans as he is. And of course he's not going to see this, and if he does, I hope he talks about me. But Howard, calm down, and this goes for everybody else. The movie doesn't look at all to be anything we've seen before, although it is something of an origin in that it's the early years of Superman and him trying to find out how he wants to go about being who he is. But that's not really anything we saw. In the old Donner films, we did see an origin. We did see him sent from Krypton. The Kents were there. Jor-El did send him from the planet, but when he became Superman, he just sort of became Superman. The one moment he wasn't, and then the next moment he was in his Superman suit flying out of the fortress. So there wasn't a lot of becoming. There was early days with Clark Kent and the kids making fun of him at school or whatever, and him running to the farm, and then Jonathan having a heart attack. But there wasn't a lot of value instilling, or it was just the idea that these were salt of the earth farmers, and that's probably why he became Superman. In this case, it looks like he's to be doing a lot of traveling around the world, learning how other people live, maybe finding out more about himself, and also, of course, with Diane Lane and Kevin Costner playing Jonathan and Martha Kent, we're going to see some Kent stuff too, which is very important, and I hope that we see a little more of the interaction, their relationships, and what he learns from them more than we have seen before. Now on Smallville, we could argue we saw plenty of relationship with Jonathan and Martha, and we saw plenty of how he goes about becoming Superman, but that's also kind of an alternate take and what might have happened if the Superman universe was the way it is on Smallville. Now it looks like we're going to see something that might be a little closer to the comics, but also might be a little bit darker in terms of maybe him being angry in certain spots, Jor-El and some of the stories coming out about General Zod. It's just very exciting. And General Zod in the old days was a little campy, even though Terrence Stamp did a fantastic job. I'm looking forward to seeing what Michael Shannon brings to the role and how different it's going to be. So when someone like Howard or other fans says, didn't we already see Zod? I mean, look at these Spider-Man movies. We had an origin movie with the Green Goblin. Then we had a second movie with Dr. Octopus, and it was different. Then we had a third movie with 3 villains in it, and they were all different. But that was the franchise. They started a franchise, and then they moved with each one with the same cast. And so far, the most recent Superman movie did not succeed the way they wanted it to in relaunching a Superman franchise. The hope was that perhaps by connecting it loosely to the Donner films, they'd be able to capture the fans who love those movies and keep them going as sort of a pseudo-sequel, but at the same time capture a new generation of fans who love this movie for what it was. It didn't work, although I think it was fairly successful monetarily. They just weren't happy with it, and a lot of fans weren't happy with it, and I think a lot of fans won't be happy with anything, whatever they get. But we'll see what happens, and I just say calm down, and I love the things that are coming out about this, and I think it's going to be great and different, even if it is somewhat of an origin story. Thanks, everybody, for watching, and remember, always look up in the sky.